at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From the original Walk-Ons, Burbank at Nicholson. Welcome to the Thursday edition of Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff, Jimmy Ott, Max Gotro. Jordan Kitchen's back in the studio. Colucci with us from Las Vegas today. Henry Hayes on the NBA playoffs. Buzzy Hydell, former LSU Tiger. He'll be part of the broadcast team this weekend at the Regional, right across the street from where we are at Walk-Ons at the box, where all four teams are going to practice today. Right now, the sun is out. It is hot. It is humid. But we're expecting a little bit of morning showers tomorrow and a little bit cooler temperatures. And, well, we'll see if we can start on time and all that stuff. The good news is that the forecast at least appears, if there is a delay at the beginning of this thing, it's not going to be a really long one. And after you get out that initial delay, the forecast looks great for the remaining 2 or 3 days of the regional. So they're going to be ready for it here at Walk-Ons, Jimmy. They're putting a lot of the finishing touches on their setup here. It's going to be like a giant tailgate party. I think, tell me if you agree here, that it will feel very much like a football weekend here at Walk-Ons across the street.
There's no doubt, Charlie. We know
a two-day football game.
This is, when it's LSU hosting regionals. I mean, it steps it up a notch. In all sports, when you get to the postseason, it steps it up a notch. Look at the NBA regular season and look at the atmosphere in the postseason. Different ball games. So, and same thing at the box itself. As great as the box is that. During the regular season, it's at a different level. When we talk about the memories at the old box and new box, it's regionals. It's always regionals. I mean, Moscona's doing his show tomorrow, so he'll be over here right where we are doing his show tomorrow. Post-game parking lot party with the full disclosure band. So no cover, open to all ages, featuring an outdoor big screen TV streaming the games. So that's pretty cool. So we get that. So,
that's very cool because you
got this is a watch party.
Yeah, they got so many platforms that some of this is streaming. So if you want to watch some of the other games, some of them are on regular LSU's on the SEC network tomorrow. The rest of the weekend we'll see how it plays out. But a lot of those games are streaming.
They should be on the SEC network the whole time. Then that's how they do it.
That hasn't.
Yeah, they stick with.
They didn't announce that. I'll take.
So like at the ACC network, whoever they'll pick one ACC regional, and they will show those games the entire time. So the SEC LSU should be on the SEC network for the entire. All the games should be on the SEC network.
They're not. The Rhode Island and DBU's on Plus. So
that's on Plus.
Yeah, they didn't announce anything for Saturday yet. It's going to be on somewhere. You may have to stream it, but my point is that if you stream it here, you'll be able to get it.
They'll have
one of the other.
We're past
some
that
of the
point,
other games too.
This town as far as getting a stream in the LSU baseball games, especially the regional. The Drew Danzy Band is going to be Saturday. That's starting at 1:00. So, what time's the winners bracket game on?
Winners bracket game on Saturday.
Like 3?
The winners bracket game on Saturday is at 5.
5. First game's at 1.
First game is at 1.
Okay.
Yep.
A little late start. Make sure they get good and cooked, huh?
Absolutely. And then this has been talked about a lot. If
that's
they do
television.
the championship game on Sunday night, it's not till 8:00. So it's going to be a late start at the box for the championship game on Sunday
game
night.
1 of the championship game.
Yeah.
So and then Monday if
the
necessary
game. Yeah, they haven't announced the time on that. That's all TBD. So.
Well, then I got to believe that all the LSU games are on, because especially with these times being shifted around a little bit, it's for television. So I would think all LSU games are SEC.
Yeah, Georgia is the first game on the SEC network tomorrow. They start at noon. This is Eastern times, or is this? This is local time. So it'd be 11:00 our time. Georgia and Binghamton. early tomorrow. Who else we got at that time? We got North Carolina. They usually start this thing off there on the ACC network to open up tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Who else we got? Wall-to-wall baseball. How can I can
Yeah,
say
so
that?
this is the spot, man.
Yeah,
you know,
this is
you
where you wanna
hunker
be.
down, you get your parking spot, you meet people here, you want to do the watch party outside. You come inside if you want. So you got the best of both worlds, man. Great food, great servers. They're ready, and throwing a big throwdown over here in the shadows of Alex Box Stadium.
All the teams practicing today over at the box. We'll see if anything comes out of that. We know that LSU's not going to announce the starting pitcher until tomorrow, so that'll continue to be speculated about. We still think that it will be Cade Anderson. That's still what you think, right?
Yeah. I wouldn't do it.
We both agree. We would go in a different direction, but we think that that's what they will do.
I do think it's. Just to be repetitive, but this team is so weak on paper. I mean, 8th or 9th they finished in the regular season.
8th seed
in the Ohio Valley Conference.
Mm-hmm.
9th in hitting, 5th in pitching in their conference, and had lost how many going into the conference tournament?
13 out of 14.
Yeah, I mean, and this makes it. If you don't consider it, I mean, so
I can see it either way. I've told you what I would do. But if you throw Anderson out there and you know that you got one shot with him, then you say, okay, well, give me 7 innings. And if you get 7 innings, hopefully after 7 innings you've got a lead where you don't have to use one of your main guys. You got Ianson to go in the second game. You hope he gets you deep. You use one of your main guys maybe to have to close that out. And then you got just about everybody left for Sunday. I can see that working. I can see that working out too. Jackson Wells has been announced for Little Rock. He will start the game. 15 starts on the season. He is 3-6, ERA of 5.24, WHIP of 1.47 in 79 innings pitched. He's got 90 strikeouts and 32 walks. 275 batting average against. Interesting footnote on him. And I'll give their coach credit for bringing this up. He was on Matt's show. I think it was on Monday or Tuesday. Jackson Wells had a ERA lower than Paul Skeens 2 years ago. Skeens finished second in the country in ERA, and Wells was first. Now, the 2 seasons since then, the ERA is over 5. But 2 years ago, the guy was lights out, and he's a guy that they're going to go with. So we'll see how LSU does. LSU does with that. And again, we may end up with a little bit of a delay. There's a 40% chance of rain at first pitch tomorrow. But if they do get delayed a little bit, I feel like they'll be able to get it in, get it started a little bit later in the afternoon and get everything in, and the rest of the weekend looks clean.
LSU minus 2,500. Means you got to put up $250 to win 10.
That's for the game?
The game.
And the regional, they are
minus 550, something like that.
Yeah,
it's going up.
One of the bigger favorites in the field of 64. SEC meetings coming to an end today. Be a lot of people on the golf course this
Brian
afternoon.
Kelly, go ahead. That's my boy.
Okay, so how did you feel about what he said? If you
I love it.
Let me. Those that didn't hear this. He said that there is a lot of momentum in the room among the coaches to have home and homes with Big Ten opponents.
The coaches want to schedule a series with the Big Ten.
Yes, the commissioner is not exactly jumping up and down about this idea because he didn't come out and endorse it, but he hasn't ruled it out either. There's all of these things kind of intertwine. Okay, you can do a 9-game conference schedule. There are teams that want it and teams that don't. I think that's what we all want. I think that's what the commissioner wants. You can do the automatic qualifiers. You're going to get some pushback. I think the biggest thing is, will Sankey ever get on board, the coaches ever get on board with the only automatic qualifiers being the 5 champions and there being 11 at-large spots? Or will they stick to their guns and say, no, it's 4 automatic qualifiers, or we're not changing off of 8 conference games and we're not scheduling any non-conference games? And it's going to – I thought one of the interesting things Kelly said was, look, we we can't really use a true RPI system because there's not enough sample size, but there's got to be some kind of guarantee, I'm paraphrasing here, that takes strength of schedule into account more than it did in the past. And I think that's really what the SEC wants is you have to acknowledge if we're playing a ninth conference game and if we're playing non-conference games like Clemson, LSU, and Ohio State, Texas, that's going to be recognized, and you don't just look at who lost that game is out.
Well, the Big Ten has been playing non-conference games forever. The Pac-12 played non-conference games forever.
Right, and the SEC and the ACC have resisted that, and the SEC at the highest level has said, we will do it when we get paid for it and when we recognize
don't they have the offer on the table for the ninth game?
Now they do.
Okay.
They did. Well, they didn't the last time they did.
Okay,
this.
well,
So
now he does. So what now, Sankey?
He wants guarantees that the strength of schedule will be honored. That if you just this is what he's saying.
He's saying a couple different things. That's what,
they all intertwine.
You're saying he wants the guarantee, but he's not going to. I mean, which is it, Charlie? Is it both? Is it both? He wants the guaranteed spots, or does he want a guarantee that they're going to? And as far as asking the committee to guarantee it, good luck. How are you going to determine that? Do you go back to the BCS system?
That's what Kelly suggested, that you bring some of those analytics back, not the whole BCS system, but you bring some of those computer analytics back into it. I think if Sankey were king for a day and he could do whatever he wanted and everybody had to follow, I think he would go with the 4 automatic bids out of the SEC and non-conference games. I don't know if he would say for sure that he would sign off on this Big Ten throughout the conference. I think he would encourage that kind of scheduling. But I think if Sankey were czar for a day and he could do whatever he wanted, he would say, we'll go to non-conference games. You give us 4 automatic qualifiers guaranteed to the playoff of 16, and we will schedule as vigorously as we can in the non-conference games that remain. And I don't think Sankey's going to force every team in the SEC to play a Big Ten opponent. Because you get a problem with teams like Florida and South Carolina who already have another power conference team on there. So you say, well, South Carolina, you got to play 9 conference games, and you got to play Clemson, and you got to play Michigan State. I don't think he's going to force that. I think he would encourage it. Hey, Texas, you want to go schedule Ohio State? Knock yourself out. LSU, you want to go to Clemson? Go ahead. But I'm not going to force that. That's what I think he would do if it was all up to him.
Well, I mean, can you give some considerations to South Carolina in Florida and the fact that, okay, we'll give you Purdue and Rutgers.
Yeah, you could do that.
We'll give you Northwestern.
Right.
I mean,
I think that he would kind of leave that up to the schools. I don't think he wants to get into the non-conference scheduling business for every school. I think he gets some pushback from that. But I think he would say, South Carolina, you want to schedule a Big Ten team? Go schedule Purdue.
Also, who's your main competition? Getting the bids, and who has just won the last 2 national championships?
Big Ten.
Do you think you're better than them? Go play them, man.
That's what Kelly said.
And when does South Carolina control the damn league?
Not just South Carolina. It's South Carolina. It's Florida.
South Carolina wants to drop South Carolina. I mean, Clemson, they can.
It's Georgia. It's Florida. It's Kentucky.
Georgia Tech's wearing Georgia out. Come on, when did they beat them?
I'm just saying you would have to.
When did they beat them?
Not very often.
Okay. I mean, when's the last time that they beat them? It's 20, 25 years ago?
They're having enough problem getting this schedule done without going tell South Carolina you can't schedule Clemson or Georgia not to schedule Georgia Tech.
Dude, let's
Florida
go play the Big
Florida
Ten.
State.
Finally, somebody speaking up. And look, Clemson learned as much as anybody. All right, well, you gotta give us something. We're just not handing you out to go play Furman, Wofford. I mean,
We're trying to make those games go away. Yes.
Yeah, you got to give us something. And Saban was trying to call for it. Man, let's get. It does nobody no good. It's a waste, and nobody's watching the games. No. So the TVs, the TV money's controlling it, and finally
the crowds are down.
Finally, the TV, well, they still buying the tickets.
They still buy the tickets, but they don't show up to the games.
Well, until it hurts the schools in the pocketbook, then what? Here's part. Look at LSU's schedule this year, the home schedule. A September 13th game against Florida.
Yeah,
is the best game. It's gonna be hot as ass.
It is going to be hot.
Huh? That's your best game.
It's hot here.
And Billy Napier's lucky to have a job. The Sun Belt Billy is. I mean, that's a hell of a schedule, Charlie.
We're getting closer to what I think we have always wanted, which is the most amount of conference games you can have. Be up to me, we'd have 10. They proved they could do that in COVID year, but I'll take 9. One non-conference game, and if you want to make it against the Big Ten, that's fantastic. I mean, I think that LSU playing teams like Clemson is good. It doesn't have to be out of the Big Ten, but a game like
Florida can cancel Florida State series. South Carolina can cancel the Clemson series.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be.
But you got to force these teams to schedule.
They're having to force them to get to 9 games. I don't know if you can. There's a limited amount of things you can force before you get enough pushback, and there's enough of them.
What did Kelly say, Charlie? Are you listening?
Yeah,
The coaches in this league want to play the Big Ten.
And there have been times where the commissioner has sat down and said, I don't give a damn what the coaches want. I got other things to do.
Who does the commissioner represent?
He represents all the schools.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I say their liaison is the AD and coach combined, maybe?
Uh-huh.
Okay, if they say, you're saying Kelly's inaccurate?
No, I'm not.
If the coaches want it, don't rain on my parade, dude.
I'm not raining on your parade.
Really? If they want to play it, don't you? As an SEC fan, do you think the SEC is better than the Big Ten?
I'm trying not to. Yes, I do, but I'm trying not to kill the deal. Okay, you got to have some buy-in from everybody, and I think you get some pushback from these teams that have traditional rivalries against power conference schools already.
How do you know? How do you know Beamer said he didn't want to play him too? How do you know? They said the coaches. Kelly said the coaches. When he said
Beamer actually said yesterday, I don't want the Clemson game to go anywhere.
Okay, well, but does he want to? Is he in on the? How many? How many is it? Is it 12 of the 16? Is it 14 of the 16? Is it 11 of the 16? I mean, if he's being accurate, he's telling us the majority. Is it right? Is it just a pocket?
Yeah. And does it?
I mean,
what I'm saying is you don't have to play.
Damn, finally we got somebody trying to pull for the people who want to watch quality, college football games.
I want the same thing you do.
But let them go for once, Charlie.
Well, this is
not being so damn negative.
I'm not being negative. I'm being realistic. These 16 guys can't get together and decide. Yes, we all agree that today is Thursday. I'm trying to get.
So Kelly's telling us, the coaches want it. Don't you think that's a big deal? Because the coaches are the ones who were preventing it.
I think
the coaches tell the AD who to schedule and who not to.
I think it's a big deal, but I think it would be a bigger deal if the commissioner came out and also backed that deal, which he hasn't yet. Now he's got other things to consider.
He's playing his poker hand, man.
Yes,
come on.
Yes, he is. This is a delicate balance that you got to have here.
You don't think he wants to play the Big Ten?
I think he wants to play quality games. I don't think he's in the business of helping the Big Ten unless it helps the SEC too.
No, don't get me started. No, we've kind of included the Big Ten like they're an equal, and we know why. Just follow the money.
They got more money. Yeah.
Okay. No. They got. Well, they don't have more money. They got as much money.
I know with TV money and schools and the thing, they got more money.
Their budgets are still. Their football budgets are not as much as the SEC's. Their football budgets. They're operating revenue.
They do fund more capital. They do fund more sports. That's right.
Okay. So that's one thing if you got it, but it doesn't mean crap if you don't spend it. You're not using it.
Yeah.
It's like Alabama. Well, Texas got more money than Alabama. Well, Alabama outspends Texas, forever, on their football budget. So, I mean, what's Ole Miss's comp in the Big Ten?
Michigan State.
Did Michigan State spend it like Ole Miss?
Probably not.
No.
Probably not.
Go play them, man. Rain on my parade.
I want to play good teams. Okay?
Damn, been negative today. Finally, Brian Kelly gives a little sunshine.
Max was on negative.
A starving dog over here. Man, can I lick the bone?
LSU against Citadel. Woo! Can't wait. Live at the original Walk-Ons. Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch. Lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Show's available on demand, 1045ESPN.com, along with 1045ESPN.com and LouisianaSports.net. Handycast up, previewing this week's regional on YouTube right now. We got everybody's practicing today, not just here but everywhere, and they're doing some press availability after all of these things. So we've got some pitching information that's starting to leak out. So, Jimmy, we speculated about this earlier in the week. How many teams in LSU's position, number one seeds, would throw their ace, and how many would pitch down? So we know who Arkansas is throwing against North Dakota State.
I'll be shocked if they throw in their ace.
They are not throwing their ace. Root will sit. Zach Root will not pitch. Aiden Jimenez will start against North Dakota State tomorrow. We know who Ole Miss will start against Murray State in the first game of there. Will it be Hunter Elliott?
I got to know at Murray State's who they throwing. You know,
they're throwing their ace. Murray
State's.
Well,
no, but is he any good?
Oh. Probably not. I mean, Ole Miss is starting Riley Maddox. They are not going to start Hunter Elliott. So that's two.
So they'll have Hunter Elliott against if the Alabama-Miami winner. We know
that's Georgia. That's the Georgia Tech, Western Kentucky.
Georgia Tech, Western Kentucky.
You're thinking
Southern
about
Miss.
Southern Miss.
Okay,
yeah. They would have against.
Yeah, Georgia Tech. They better. Yeah,
they got some sticks.
Yeah,
they can swing it. So we'll keep up. We'll keep up with
that.
The
16.
We said
put the over/under at 10.5, Charlie.
That will hold, right?
Yes.
That will hold race. Okay, so we'll keep up
That's
to
the
date
advantage
on that.
of the seed.
Yeah, you got.
You play that automatic qualifier.
You can play the first game and get you guys in off their feet. You can hold your ace if you want to do that. So keep up with that as it trickles out here a little bit. Some teams are announcing today. LSU will not announce today. Jay Johnson said Monday. We will tell you on Friday before the game.
But if Little Rock's a pitcher is having the season he did 2 years ago, that's a completely different story.
Sure. If you
that's
got somebody like that,
completely different story.
And I brought this up on the podcast. And so what would Skip do? Well, Skip through his ace. No, Skip didn't.
No.
Skip held his ace way more often once you got to this format. Now, it's important to remember that Skip only coached in this format 3 years, the last 3 years of his career. In 2000, they held their ace. In 2001, they held their ace. They didn't hold their ace in 1999 because they were playing Northeast, and Northeast had Ben Sheets, who was a top 10 pick in the draft. Yeah. So if you got somebody like that, you got a DeJuan Hazelton, you got a Steven Strasburg, you got to throw your guy. But other than that, you got a chance to hold them off. Also has some more good news for you, Captain Sunshine. They have announced the time.
No, don't you start. Not today.
They have announced the time of LSU and Florida, that game you just referenced.
Really?
Just coming out, yeah.
It got to be a night game because they had people passing out left and right for the UCLA September Day game.
6:30.
Yeah.
They will play both Florida and Louisiana Tech, both September games at 6:30.
So what am I seeing on this? With Texas, they did approach them about the Ohio State putting it at Sunday.
Yeah, and Texas.
How is
balked. Texas?
But it's Ohio State's game.
It is, but they can't move the day without Texas.
Okay.
I think they could have moved the time anywhere they wanted, but they couldn't move the day without Texas okaying it, and Texas said no.
Why?
You'd have to ask Texas. I don't know. They just didn't want to play them on Sunday, and it would have been the Sunday night game up against Notre Dame and somebody. I think there's another Sunday night game.
Oh, there would not have been, Charlie. No. It's
already been scheduled.
No, I know, but they moved it in once. This is coming out now because they
decided it, right. Okay.
No. They didn't go and try and get that other game.
Yeah, Ohio State wanted this game to be a primetime game. Fox said, fine, we'll put it on Sunday night, the night before Labor Day, and Texas said no. So that's a big noon game.
Did you see their
Notre Dame and Virginia? Notre Dame and Miami. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they went to Notre Dame and Miami after Texas Ohio State. I mean, possible 1 versus 2 matchup, but the AD actually did say something about it.
Del Conte?
Yeah, he said that he didn't. He did not want to give his players a short week.
Who are they playing in week 2?
The Spartans. San Jose.
Oh.
Yep.
Can't compromise your prep for San Jose.
Hell no. Man, kiss my ass, man. When people say these things, I mean, like, Okay, you just don't. What? Why would you not want that? I mean, that is the most televised game pretty much all year. It's one of the top 5.
Yeah.
It's opening weekend. It's standalone. It's prime time. It's a good game. I mean, would you have about 4 quality games? Like last year, you had LSU, USC, Texas A&M, Notre Dame, Georgia, Clemson, and Miami and Florida. I mean, that was the 4.
Yeah.
And so this year you got Clemson, LSU. You got a lot of rent-a-wins in there.
You do.
Okay.
There's 3 prime matchups. The 2 you just talked about, and Alabama, Florida State is still a name. I don't know how good Florida State's going to be.
Florida State
this year.
could be good.
Yeah,
it could be good. No, it's a good one.
That's 3. That's the 3 that
is that in Tallahassee or like Orlando?
It's in Tallahassee.
It is in Tallahassee. Okay, home game. That means something.
That's why it's still in play to be Corso's game. We always just figured it would be Ohio State because he's got a history with the Buckeyes.
Miami Notre Dame's a good one too. That's as good as Miami.
Notre
was
Dame.
Last year.
Yeah, that's on Sunday. Yeah, I was talking about the Saturday games, but yeah, that's on Sunday. That's a good game.
Well, I'm talking about the whole weekend. I included LSU and USC, which was on Sunday last year as well.
Right. Florida State and Alabama still in play for Corso because, he went to school there.
All right, let's get Colucci time. We got to take a time out. Don't forget our friends at Legacy Title, Chad Reynolds, Legacy Title for all your real estate closings, 296-0060. Full-service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Fast, friendly, professional service is what you get when you dial 296-0060. Buying, building, refinancing, nobody chooses but you. Choose Chad Reynolds, Legacy Title, 296-0060.
Live at the original Walk-Ons live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
It's time. It's now Colucci time. Dwayne Colucci is back to give his best picks on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Colucci, how you doing?
Doing well, gentlemen. How we doing in fabulous Baton Rouge today?
Hot, steamy, and Charlie's being very negative. So
I'm being negative, yes.
Yes, he's being very negative today. So besides that,
What's the negativity about?
Well, Brian Kelly just gave us some volley. Don't you hate these rent-a-wins when the LSU Alabamas and Texas has played San Jose State, Binghamton and, Alcorn State? Don't you hate that? With these 50-point spreads.
You got to fill the schedule and make these little minor colleges some revenue, no? I mean, that's what
the LSU coach at spring meet
get away from that. Go ahead.
The LSU coach said that, hey, the SEC coaches, they're all down in Destin. SEC coaches want to play the Big Ten every year. Want to play a SEC Big Ten challenge. Let's play one. So that knocks out one of your rent-a-wins. Charlie, no, the commissioner doesn't want it. This and that, and just finally we get, finally they throw us.
It just continues to destroy the smaller college. I understand what Charlie's saying, that they're not going to do it. The commissioner doesn't want it. But if these guys don't get any revenue, Jimmy, it's kind of rough.
Dwayne, Charlie and the commissioner aren't worried about the smaller conferences. It's not it.
Actually, what I said was that I would love this, but it's not as easy as just saying the coaches want it, so it happens. And the commissioner's got other things that he's juggling. And that if you add this and you mandate it, there are some standing rivalries against non-conference teams that you're going to get some pushback on. I would love to wave a magic wand and have 12 games that mean something, but I understand that this is a negotiation. That's all I said. And Jimmy labeled me as negative for that, which I didn't think was fair.
Well, I think
So you got him all choked up.
Handle, because I don't think that we're going to have, basically a games, and that's the going counts. You're just going to have probably about.
Jordan, we got a bit. Oh, there we go. Okay. Dwayne,
college basketball. Yeah, go ahead.
The college basketball, we got some news too. That they're about to expand their tournament. They're thinking about 74, 76, something like that. So
76.
Yeah, that's coming. Around the corner. So more content for
tournament.
Yeah, the March Madness.
You were talking about? Yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, that's just a waste of time. To begin with, and all it's doing now is just letting teams that were exposed throughout the regular season get in. I mean, you think about it when you come to voting. that you scratch your head. Max, that maybe got snubbed when it comes to, the selection of the tournament. Now adding 13, 14 teams is just ridiculous. I mean, it'll we.
All right, we got a bad.
Jordan, you need
Dwayne, we got to try and reconnect. Jordan, call him right back. Don't forget our friends over here at United Community Bank, the local way to bank big with locations from Baton Rouge to Golden Meadow. We've been serving the people of Southern Louisiana for over 50 years. United Community Bank, our great team of bankers, Heath Meir, Nicole Glover, Hunter Creed, David Campbell, David Henry, Prentice Wilkes. Go by and check them out. Discuss how we can help your business today. United Community Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Do we have Dwayne back?
You know what I think that they wanted to do with that was basically make the Tuesday and Wednesday of the basketball tournament four game days, that you would have 4 games in Dayton on each of those days instead of 2.
Oh, they've got this piece of content, their most valuable content, and they want to expand it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, they're
you would have 4 games going at one time, but you have 4 games in one
Tuesday and Wednesday will be more than just a couple of games,
4
including
games
a 116 matchup. All right, speaking of positivity, Knicks Pacers Game 5 tonight at the Garden. Dwayne, Kaluch. Charlie, your negativity has just killed the whole technical aspect of the show today.
It's been a rough week. There he is.
Dwayne, are you on a pack? Are you? There you go. What about the Knicks tonight?
Now I can hear you. Well, what about them? They'll be picking it up. Don't worry about it. I mean, just a horrible performance through and through in this, playoffs. This series, I should say. It's just horrible from game 1, blowing that 20-point lead. And they just haven't seemed to recover. And, it took, 70 games for Thibodeau to start using a deeper rotation and to figure out that these guys are going to get eventually winded.
Yeah, we got a bad.
Get to the hoop, and it just doesn't seem like they know how to use him. So, we're sitting at 4 at the Rampart in South Point, 222.5. Say that real quick 100 times. And, we're seeing some good two-way money so far. Not applied with the Nick money like we've seen in some of their must-win games. And that definitely sends a sign that, they're not a lock. They're not the team that we thought they were. Pacers are definitely playing with a chip on their shoulder, you could tell. And it's a result. The ticket count is 2-1 on the Pacers right now at the Rampart in South Point. And, it's very difficult to win when your back is against the wall at Madison Square Garden. I've said this time and time again. It seems like at times, the Garden is the Knicks' kryptonite, and they really don't excel there. And it was proven earlier in this series.
It's unreal, huh? Historically, I've heard people talk about it. It's played out again this year. They've just been better on the road in the playoffs than they have been at home, and it's not because of it's a weak environment. I mean, the fans can't get into it any more than that they are. They're bringing it. It's just crazy how that works. Did you watch the 30 by 30 years ago of the Reggie Miller game and the Knicks game and all that?
How many times are they going to show that? I mean, I don't over and over again. You know me. You push the bear now, Jimmy. So what do I need? First of all, I'm a huge advocate. Now, I'm telling you this right now, and, everybody's going to laugh other than Knicks fans. Why is get this Indiana and this Indiana diehard off of the sideline? I don't want to hear him pretend to be objective while he's pointing fingers at Halliburton. He's razzing Spike Lee before the game. Get this guy out of here. Let him do the Western Conference. There's no reason that he should be on the sideline doing game by game for the Indiana Pacers. It's like a home announcement, and I just shut off the sound, basically. I mean, I never, I thought Reggie was always average player, a 3-point shooter. And I'm not going to say that this guy's one of the top 50 enemies.
Well, TNT's just trying to level the
Time
playing
ago, and
field a
now-
little bit of all the New York media on an ESPN and everything else that we got to listen to. Just Stephen A. Smith shaking his pom-poms left and right. So, speaking of that game 30 years ago, man, Van Gundy. How about Van Gundy? Coming out of a timeout, Charlie. Okay, Pacers had the ball down 6. Do they think they're not? They have. Are you not preparing for who
you guys are saying?
Wait. But so he goes, I can't believe, and next thing I know, Anthony Mason is inbounding the ball. I worse him out. Can't you coach it? You're not prepared for them to make something and then have your worst inbound player? What do you mean? That's not by chance. That's not coached.
Well,
how can you admit that?
Wasn't Anthony Mason, and remind me who Reggie Miller pushed to the ground to get that ball?
It was Starks.
It wasn't Starks. No, it was one of the lesser players, but it wasn't like. It wasn't Mark Jackson.
The guy was stumbling.
Yeah, and Miller pushed him to the ground. So my thought
I mean, a little of both.
My thought has always been that Mason was throwing to that guy, and that guy went to the ground voluntarily or involuntarily.
Van Gundy on the documentary says, and I look and I'm like, oh no, Anthony Mason, our worst inbounder's got the ball.
Well, then that's on him. That's definitely on him. I always gave Mason a little bit of the benefit of the doubt that the player that he was throwing the ball to ended up on the floor.
Okay, so how about when Starks misses the 2 free throws? You get the ball with 5 seconds to go in a tie game. What do? You had the last possession before. So the situational awareness. Do you rush a shot?
No,
you make sure the opponent doesn't get him. Not only does he rush a shot, and then they foul him.
Yeah, well, they never really got. Indiana fouled with. The score tied.
Right. And Starks missed both
free throws.
So when you get the offensive rebound, you shoot the last shot. So not only do they rush a shot, but then they foul Miller when he gets the rebound.
And he's going to make both shots. He's probably the best free throw shooter.
This was the biggest meltdown.
And then they didn't get a shot off at the end.
I love how they do it, though, because I do enjoy watching it over and over. So, I'm glad that they brought that back on the 30-year reunion. Aren't you, Dwayne?
I think we lost him. I think we lost him for good. Well, he can't hear us. We can't hear him.
We got a bad connection.
Something went.
It's no internet.
Wow, that's what though from. I think this is a phone. Monday it was the internet. Monday it was definitely the internet. Got more pitching information. Got another guy another team holding their ace.
Let's take a time out.
We'll come back.
We'll come back when we look live at lunch, live here at Walk-Ons. We got live entertainment Friday and Saturday. Big screen out there. Watch parties out in the grass parking lot. So, man, you got things going on over here for the regional. All starts tomorrow. Matt's doing the show tomorrow, 3 to 6 p.m. over here at the original Walk-Ons. Within steps of Alec Box Stadium. Live at Walk-Ons, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And return here at Walk-Ons as most of the number one teams, they're going to order of the seeds are practicing right now. So you got media availability with some of these things, and we're learning more about some of the pitching matchups in the opening games of these tournaments. There's pitching down, and then there's pitching down. Okay, so what do we know so far? Ole Miss decided to pitch down for their game against Murray State. But they're not pitching down very far. They're going with Riley Maddox, who has been their number 2 starter for most of the season. He's got 15 starts and an ERA a little bit over 5. Then you got Auburn. Auburn is pitching down. They're not going to throw Sam Dutton, who struggled a little bit near the end of the season. Had a great year overall, but struggled a little bit in the last couple of starts that he had of the season. They're pitching down a little bit further. They're going with Cam Tilley, who made only 5 starts in the regular season, was a starter a couple of games in SEC play. He's got an ERA of 5. They are playing Central Connecticut. Then there is Arkansas.
That's Auburn?
That's Auburn, yeah. So they're pitching further down than number 2. Arkansas is pitching way down. Not only are they not throwing Ruth, they're not throwing Gage either. They're throwing all the way down to Aiden Jimenez, who has made only one start all season. He has been a quality bullpen arm for the Hogs, but he has, in 18 appearances, made only one start, so this will be his second start. So they're pitching significantly further down for their game against North Dakota State. Jim Schlossnagel came out just a little while ago and said that he does not have an announcement on his starting pitcher, whether they would throw Ruger Riojas against Houston Christian or they will hold for somebody else in that rotation somewhere. He said he will make an announcement, though, by the end of the day. So that's 4. LSU has finished up. The players are talking with the media right now. Johnson said on Monday that he'll make his announcement before the game on Friday. So that's kind of where we stand. That's about a quarter of the teams that have said something one way or another on who they're throwing tomorrow.
That's 3 for 3 so far, huh?
3 for 3, 3 1 seeds pitching down. Yes, and one undecided.
Boy, everybody else is undecided, huh?
One unannounced. How's that?
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just kidding.
What we have, we've got 3 for 3.
3 for 3. That's right.
What's the number?
I thought you had a good number. I thought 10
or 11.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good. I'm looking for who the most dangerous the dangerous 4 seed in this tournament is, and there's just not one that it jumps out at you and you go, okay, wow, that team.
Well, you know who the least is.
The least one is the one here.
Yeah.
I
mean, Bethune-Cookman is the second weakest RPI, and they're how many spots ahead of Little Rock?
50.
Cool.
So it's definitely a lot. It's just records, I can't. Bethune-Cookman's got a great record. Do I think that they're going to go in and win tomorrow? I don't. They were 24-5 in the SWAC. So, do I think that they're going to win? No. Houston Christian was 17-13 in the Southland. Southland had a team almost get in as an at-large in Southeastern. So is that a little bit better? I can't tell you. There's nobody. Wright State is playing Vandy. Okay, Wright State's 38-19. It's a respectable record. They were 25-5 in the Horizon League. And if they beat Vandy in Nashville, I'll walk backwards around the stadium 3 times and stand on my head. I don't see it. Miami of Ohio was 23-7 in the Mid-American. I can't imagine that they're going to beat Tennessee. But, hey, let's ask it this way. How many 4 seeds do you think will win tomorrow?
One.
I think the chalk is 1. There'll be one out of nowhere pitching performance, or some team goes nuts and just gets hot, or some 1 seed makes 4 errors or something like that. I think the chalk is 1. Hope it ain't here. You can never tell about that. Hour number 2, straight ahead here at the original Walk-Ons, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Man, Walk-Ons, the original Walk-Ons tomorrow and tomorrow and Saturday, where they got the tailgate party over here, live music, big screen TV in the grass parking lot right next to the patio. So you got watch party, you got concerts, pregame tomorrow, postgame on Saturday, and we got all the games on. They'll have the games on that are happening at Alec Box when they're gone, but we have all their games on here throughout the entire building. So it's a spot, man, within walking distance of Alec Box Stadium. This is your home for the Baton Rouge Regional. Let's bring in Henry Hayes, talking NBA. Henry, how you doing?
What's up, Jimmy?
Let's start last night, and let's try and stave away from the But the media today, I mean, my God, we got to talk about OKC. Are they a dynasty? Can they win one? I mean, I know one thing. The data is this is going to be the 7th straight new team that's going to win the crown, and this wasn't always the case in the NBA. I mean, when Durant was with Golden State, Henry, they win one. They're like even money. It was like them versus the field the next year to win it all. So I think that's a good thing that we have in there. But it is budding between OKC and Indiana as far as the lowest, we would say like 25 and 48 or 25 and 47, the size of the markets. That's the highest number as far as combined market size that I think ever in the NBA Finals. But we got some exciting teams, Henry. Got a lot of showtime to these teams are high flying, man, both Indiana and Oklahoma City.
And both, Jimmy, there because of Paul George. Don't forget that. Literally both franchises got back on the path of winning because of a big Paul George trade. So don't lose that as well. But, back to the 7 straight new champs. Good news, bad news. Good news is the league fan bases when what? That's 25% more of your league can say, hey, we can win it. That's great. The bad news is, look, there's a reason they're the Yankees. There's a reason Notre Dame football plays. The Lakers, the Dodgers, these are America's teams, the Cowboys. So from the finances and the economics of the league, Lakers, Celtics, they pull draws. But look, as a hardcore hoops fan, which I am, I don't mind it. I love new blood. I love the fact that Jokic's Nuggets could only get one because it's tough. And, the Celtics, again, only got one. It's tough. Injuries played a factor. But, I think with these teams, you're looking at different ways to build rosters. Indiana doesn't have a top 15 player in the league, arguably. You could argue Tyrese, but obviously OKC, big time into the draft and their picks, and it's worked. And we're just getting started with that group. They're going to have some big decisions to make here pretty soon. But you know the stat. The starting lineup's younger than Auburn, so they're going to be around for a while.
The Pacers come out and they were, and Halliburton was outstanding. The other thing though, I mean, I went back and charted. I mean, layups, dunks, free throws, shots in a lane. It was a lot. I think it was like 25 total buckets and 23 or 4 more made free throws. And that's not even talking about the countless wide open three. I thought Thibodeau was a defensive-minded coach. What is going on? And they gave us some of these signs during the regular season. They were not a usual Thibodeau team with their metrics defensively.
Well, Jimmy, they're getting thoroughly Carlisle'd. Rick Carlisle, to me, has been a top 3 coach in the league for the last 15 years. Doesn't probably get the due he deserves, and part of that's championship, ring count. I get it. However, man, I think Indiana has some of the best sets in the league. They're not ISO ball. They don't rely on weak side pick and rolls. They move the ball. They share it. They trust each other, and it shows. And so you have got to defend them deep into that shot clock. And when you're New York and you don't use your bench, and this is game number, 99, 100, 101, it's starting to really show. And so Indiana just makes you guard. And they have a lot of confidence in what they're doing. And they're really, really confident. So I think that's why they win tonight.
Hey, why? And this started from game 1 with this matchup because Indiana definitely wanted to try and get into their bench and trying to pick up the pace. Knicks are running with them, Henry. I mean, they have a great half-court, option as far as we can run clock, we can slow it down. And Brunson is set up for it. I mean, they do it late in the games. He constantly gives them, just good quality shots, while still running it down. Why are they running with the Pacers?
Now, that is a great question because I agree with you. I think it's a terrible strategy. You can't run the Pacers out of the building. And even if you were successful, you're still putting a lot more tread on the tires of those Knicks who go 6.5 deep. And so you're asking a lot for that team. Even when they're successful, it's not a strategy to win a series, that's for sure. So I don't know if that's Brunson pushing his foot to the gas. He sees an advantage. I certainly can't think it's Thibodeau's plan because that's not the way he plays. So, I think you've got to credit Indiana for baiting the Knicks to say, hey, we've got opportunities to run, and we'll take them. And so that's a credit to the Pacers in my mind.
All right, after last night, the T-Wolves facing elimination. Those teams in this postseason are 8-8. It's exactly 500, whether they cover the spread or are competitive. Like games like Game 5 in Indianapolis, where Milwaukee, man, should have beaten the Pacers. I mean, they were better, and that's without Lillard in that game. They should have beaten them. But the T-Wolves and man, Oklahoma City slapped them down. We know about SGA and. All the pieces, and it's sometimes they're hot, sometimes it's just okay, but they're capable. There's so many pieces, they're so deep. But Henry, I was blown away how smothering defensively. I mean, the T-Wolves couldn't get a good shot. It wasn't because Edwards is not attacking the rim like he sometimes. I was just blown away. Can this team be that good defensively that they showed last night?
I think it's a combination of a lot of things, Jimmy. Look. Don't think I'm crazy, but I think OKC is starting to show me the 92 Bulls in that you remember the Lakers took that first game on a Sam Perkins kind of lucky three. From that point forward, the Bulls choked them out. And you could see young Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, Ron Harper. You could tell those guys had them, and they knew it. And I think OKC knew they've got them. And they had them in their home. That crowd is probably as close to a college crowd as we have in the league, and they're feeling themselves. I mean, they've got arguably the best player in the game, and they've got a ton of help, and a ton of help off the bench. And look, the other thing is, I don't think Chet Holmgren gets enough credit to be a great, not good, a great rim protector. Weak side shot blocker, on-ball shot blocker. He makes guys change their shots. And look, when you get your stuff put back like that, on a worldwide broadcast, don't think that it doesn't rent space in your head to say, I don't know if I'm going to try him again. So I think it's all working for him. And the other subtle piece, when SGA is willing to get in a stance and play defense, that also is contagious. So they've got the mark of a champion, and they know it.
It looks like a young team. Again, they're younger than the Auburn Tigers were this year, so they're going to. You got to get that playoff seasoning before you have success in the NBA because it's just such a different game, almost a different sport to Holmgren. And I look at his teammate where they were knocked out in the Sweet 16 round by Arkansas and Williams, and how he kind of beat up Holmgren in that game, and. He is, I'll give Holmgren credit, a couple things. He's not the focal point. There's a lot of teams where you win the lottery. He's the lock number one pick, and I mean, he's got to carry you. He's being able to come along and develop at his own pace. It's almost like not rushing a quarterback, with a bad group. And he's not the focal point. But the thing that I like, man, he finishes. He's a very physical finisher. I mean, he is throwing it down, and yeah, man, he delivered the knockout punch in Game 4. Where Minnesota is very close to, with that block shot toward the end of the game. So I think a lot of things. He's in a good position where they can ease him along, but he's also doing the things where we question the most, and that is, defending at the rim and finishing at the rim.
No question, and don't forget, Jimmy, he's actually shooting it good enough to where you got to go guard him at 24 feet now. He will take that three, and we've seen him make some pretty tough shots. So he's just a load to handle, man. He's so he's kind of like Wembanyama. He's such a physical freak. Can put it on the deck. He's a dog too, by the way. He will fight you. He will get a loose ball. He's not going to quit on plays. And I think he's going to get a lot better. I think his role as a playmaker. And you said it. He's got so many pieces around him. He doesn't have to be Wembanyama in San Antonio where he's got to do everything. So he is in a great spot. And remember, he lost a full year to injury. And so we're still kind of scratching the surface of what Chet Holmgren can be. And it's just such a perfect fit with the Williams boys, SGA, the big they signed from New York. I mean, that roster is Dort.
That was the one, Hartenstein. It takes so much of the pressure off him because he is a physical big, and Holmgren has greatly improved his strength since getting there. To me, Hartenstein was the one, and they made subtle moves. They didn't rock the whole league when they signed Hartenstein, but it's a big sign. They didn't rock the whole league when they traded for Caruso, but what a sign that was. I mean, every move they made has been the right one.
It's just allowing him to come at his own pace, at a comfortable pace, though, as well. They have so many pieces. They're so deep. And you talk about it because they let the Paul George. Okay, so these two teams that one's in and probably the other one's close to getting there as well, Paul George. So could that have worked out for the Pelicans with the AD move? Or could it be a Paul George type of move if they shop Zion?
Could be. You got to get a little bit lucky there, Jimmy. I think things have to break right for you. Look, did anybody have Tyrese Halliburton being this good? Maybe, maybe not. I think he's closer to the ceiling than many thought, so that's worked out. And then you've got to pepper in. Hanny nailed it. I mean, don't let the bald-headed white boy in the goofy headband fool you. Alex Caruso is arguably the best on-ball defender in the perimeter in the league, and so what a great ad, right? He doesn't have to play starters minutes. But yeah, I mean that's on the menu, Jimmy, for the Pelicans in this offseason, But you got to get those picks right.
I think Caruso is a big piece in this for other reasons. First of all, he's worked on his shot. He doesn't miss open looks. I mean, he is money. I mean, he has worked on his shot, but also just being around. He's got to be their oldest player, huh? Got to be their veteran. And I mean, and a guy that doesn't mind doing, the dirty things, defending, hustling, loose balls, these type of things. But he has improved his shot as well.
Yeah. Here's the thing with it. Could it be Zion? First of all, what the Pelicans got for Anthony Davis, if they could have ever – you got Brandon Ingram, okay, who was a good player, maybe a little, not ready to be the alpha dog. You got Lonzo Ball, who was hurt. And then you got Josh Hart. You'd love to have Josh Hart back. You end up moving him in another trade. Zion doesn't have that kind of trade value right now. He doesn't have anything close to resembling what Anthony Davis's trade value was, because as big of a pain in the neck as Davis was, he was playing at a high level at that time. Any team that trades for Zion can't count on him to be on the floor. So you're not going to get as big of a haul. But whatever you do get, you got to make sure those guys fit. And everybody Oklahoma City's brought in has fit. And the guys that New Orleans brought in, they could play, but they were hurt all the time. They never got the team on the floor that they wanted. Never.
No, that's all true. And even a guy like CJ, Charlie, who, look, you'd be tough to find a better locker room guy who's a really good player in the league, too. And it just didn't work. And primarily that's because of health, which, I mean, it's the same old drum we've been beating. But until they can stay on the floor, it's an incomplete data set.
Take somebody like Alexander Walker, who the Pelicans drafted, okay? He is a role player. He's a rotation piece for Minnesota. But the Pels didn't wait on him. They moved him out before he really fully developed. They did the same thing with Dyson Daniels, who led the league in steals this year. They weren't patient enough with those guys. They've never been able to get it right.
Well, I'm just worried about my boy Chalamet, man. He's a little bit upset there, man. Willy Wonka, Come on, Willie. Come on, Willie Dillon,
No, Jimmy. Come on, man. I gotta culturally, that's Dune. That's the Lisan Al Gaib. Come on, you gotta talk to Ethan more, man. Come on.
Dune 2, though, right?
Yeah, Dune 3 coming out. Come on.
There you go. I'm waiting for the House of Dragon to come out next year. So anyway, yeah. Hey, what about the guard tonight? You expecting a big effort out of the Knicks, or what do you think tonight? I think it should be a really good game. Most of the games have been.
I think, Jimmy, the Pacers are going to smell blood, and I think they know they've got to finish them now, because you've got OKC off their feet. They're waiting. And so I think that they are good enough to know that it's time to finish them. And I think, like I said, they know their matchups. They're really confident in that. So I expect the Pacers to win tonight.
But Henry, even if they go 7, okay, I mean, the league gives them, a week and a half to rest. I mean, they space that. I mean, it's the same story. We got to wait. They don't play for another 9 days. It's every year we do this stuff. You know that, Henry.
No, it is, Jimmy. But don't mistake it. I mean, with preseason, they're going into their 101st game, so everybody's hurt. It's just a question of how much. And so you really want to get your trainers' hands on those bodies and joints and ankles and to get them ready. And then, like I said, the scouting, they can sit and watch that film. But you're right. I mean, they do have better breaks than they did in the 80s and 90s. So I expect the Pacers to close them out tonight.
No choice. I mean, it hit them. We kind of figured some things out through a bad spot with COVID, right? Everything should. Can we do meetings, remotely and things like that? Max can run a show in Toronto from Bruley. We got all kinds of. We got the league. They showed it. Hey, man, don't compete with football. Push it back, and then we could push back where there's way less competition this summer. What are we gonna? We worried about getting our audience from the British Open. I mean, why would they not push this league this season back?
1, 2, 3, Cancun.
Charlie, I could find you great locations, including south of the border. And it's better time to go down to Cancun in October.
I agree with you. You asked a question and I answered it. That's why they want that summer vacation, and for whatever reason they don't want to take it at another time of year, even though they could afford it. You're right, Henry. I don't know how you feel about that, but every time 1, 2, 3, Cancun.
Yeah. Well, look, in terms of, I think you're onto something though, Jimmy. Look, when we had the strike-shortened season, we had 50 games. That was when the Spurs beat the Knicks in the finals. And it was fun because those games mattered. Like, everybody knew 50 games is quick. So, do they have too much inventory? Yes, they do. Are the owners going to be willing to give back a dime? I highly doubt it. And frankly, neither will the Players Association. So
I don't think they're going to reduce the season. I'm talking about moving it back.
Yeah.
Just starting it at Christmas and ending on Labor Day, or ending in the middle of
the middle of August,
the middle of NFL preseason. Who's watching that? That's dying.
I think it would certainly be something that Silver needs to take a look at because they could dominate that summer schedule. Baseball fans are different than your casual NBA fan, I believe. So I think there's a lot of merit to that idea.
Charlie, Cancun is way better in October than it is in August. Trust me.
I don't play in the NBA.
No.
I agree with you. If they started the season the 1st of January and they ended the season the 2nd or 3rd week in August, that to me would be the perfect calendar. But that vacation has been one of the big sticking
money
points.
line tonight, huh? We coming back tonight on the money line, Henry. So we got let me see here. We got come on, been a bad signal over here. But here we go. Money line coming back, plus 45. All right. Here you go.
Pretty good value. Yep, and I'd take it all day.
All right, Henry. Next week we'll be previewing the finals because we will certainly have time. When is Game 1 scheduled for?
That I don't know.
It won't be before next Thursday. I know that. I know that. All right, Henry. We appreciate it, buddy. Thank you, man.
All right, guys. See ya.
All right. Don't forget our friends over at Workbox and Workbox Services. I mean, home storage, you got it. Movable storage, commercial, business or at the house. Our shipping containers come in all different sizes, 8x8, 8x10, 8x20, even 8x40 feet, not just one size. And can be customized for any use or any desire. Custom lunchrooms, offices, work sites, dual-purpose part office, part storage, climate control, shelving, lighting, you name it. Give my buddy Martin Padiel on Workbox a call at 343-4886 and WorkboxLLC.com.
Live at the original Walk-Ons, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch. Lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
And we welcome you back here at Walk-Ons. We'll talk to Buzzy Hydell in the next segment. He's going to be on the call along with Doug Thompson, Chris Blair at the box this weekend. We'll get Buzzy's thoughts on LSU and the regional. We're getting more information around the country right now. One of the bigger stories in the position player realm is at Florida, where Colby Shelton, their shortstop, did not take BP, did not throw during their practice session today. They are in the Conway Regional, and they are at Coastal Carolina, and they're playing East Carolina in the first round. Shelton is Florida's leading hitter. He had 377 on the season, 7 homers, 35 runs batted in, and he is their starting shortstop. So that would be a big loss. He did not take BP. He did not throw. And so make of that what you will. If he can't do that today, you got to wonder what he would be able to do tomorrow. East Carolina had to win they had to win the tournament to get into this thing. Yeah. Since Cliff Godwin has been there, this makes 7 tournaments in a row, and it makes 9 tournaments out of 10. But they had to win this tournament against Tulane on Sunday to get into the field of 64. I'll tell you that it's obviously it's not one of their better teams, because Godwin's had them has had them in super regionals before, where they were at home, and they don't really have that monster up at the top of the rotation. They've got a couple of decent pitchers, Nathan Norby and Lance and Sean Jenkins, but not that monster. So that's an interesting game with them and Florida.
Florida's given a lot of credit, of course, because they came in as a 3 seed last year and they won the Stillwater Regional, won a Super too, and went on to Omaha. But this year they are the equal odds as Coastal to come out of that regional. I'm not sure if that's not a little reputation or not, but we're looking at maybe some 4-seeded teams. We're trying to see if some would be capable. There is no top 200 prospects for the draft from any of the 4 seeds. The number 1 prospect is you got another Holiday coming out. Matt's got another kid
out of Oklahoma. High school kid out of Oklahoma.
Stillwater, Oklahoma. Shortstop, third baseman, bigger kid, 6'4", 210. Than Jackson, who's with the Orioles right now. But and then on this list, Anderson is the top college prospect at number 3.
They got him ahead of Liam Doyle.
Yeah, is it got him. Jamie Arnold is right behind him, and Doyle's 9. So Witherspoon 8.
Those are the 4 pitchers that are expected to go in the college pitchers that are expected to go in the top 10 picks of the draft. In the order, we'll see. But Doyle, Anderson, Witherspoon, and Arnold are the top 4 pitchers statistically in this tournament. We also saw Anthony Ianson. ESPN's latest mock draft has him as a sandwich pick. So between the first and second round, one of those compensatory picks. So he has moved up quite a bit in the last 6 weeks up these draft charts. You also asked me about 2 kids when you're looking at that list.
66, they had him on this one.
66,
This is
He's going to go early. He has moved up an awful lot. Even
this is MLB.com.
Yeah, even 66 would be higher than he was at the beginning of the season, or even I think at midseason. You asked me about 2 other kids that are on that list that are former LSU players that have moved up. One of them's here in this regional in Micah Bucknum. He was on the national championship team 2 years ago. He transferred to Dallas Baptist. He was running Friday nights for them all the way up to the beginning of May. Had an injury at the beginning of May, missed almost end of April, beginning of May, almost a month. He came back in the conference tournament. He threw 3 perfect innings, 9 up, 9 down. Then they got him out. I don't know how much he could throw in this tournament, but he had a live fastball. If I remember right, he was up around 96, 97 when he left here. Just kind of a little used relief pitcher, but you could see the potential for him. LSU could very easily see him at some point on the weekend. The other guy is Paxton Kling, who is up at Penn State. Where they got him, June?
157.
Yeah. Always was, and he started a lot of games here. I want to say he probably started somewhere around 70,
never came around
70 games or so. Just could never quite handle the pressure here. He was a real toolsy kid. Had some pop in the bat. He could run. is a very, very good glove out in center field. Just the pressure kind of got to him, I thought. He looked a little unsure of himself. Got in some bad
Sure has a little less pressure at Penn State baseball.
A little less, and probably a little less level of competition in the SEC. But he was always a real toolsy kid. So I
watched him in the Big Ten tournament.
I liked him an awful. I thought he would work out here.
He does look way more comfortable.
Yeah,
just playing ball.
The first time I saw him,
could run a little bit, like you said.
The first time I saw him play, I thought this kid can be Mike Kerner. Who was also a toolsy kid that was on 2 of LSU's national championship teams as a center fielder, who could run, had some pop in the bat. Now, those were the -5s, but still, I loved watching Kerner play. I thought he was an excellent player. I thought Kling would be that. Didn't work out for him here, but it worked out for him.
On this list, you got LSU player Jared Jones at 99, and right before that, Luke Hill, the Episcopal Arizona State, now Ole Miss player, playing some third base. At Ole Miss this year, a little bit of second base and third base. He's at 96. So,
yeah, Jones. I think they're going to take a long look at Jones. I think he's probably slipped a little bit in the last half of the season because of the high number of strikeouts, but he's still going to go pretty high because of the power in the bat. And we're going to sweat Ethan Fry something terrible because I think he's moved up considerably in the last half of the season.
I'm looking at the Tulane closer who did in that run to the finals. And you talked about Godwin's East Carolina Pirates. It came down to that with those two teams facing the finals. And but Lombardi pitched. He started the game and went very deep. He's at 75. The Tulane closer. Ethan Fry, Charlie.
I don't know that he's on that list.
I saw him. I got to go back. If I did. Don't remember. He's
kind of a buzz name right now. Because of
that, Hyacinth's got to be a buzz name.
But no, Hyacinth's moved himself up.
He's going through some tough lineups and just shutting them down.
I just told you that the ESPN grabbed him in the sandwich round, so he's moved up.
Yeah,
a ton.
I would. My money's on sandwich closer to what I had 66 or whatever it is. Yeah,
and Fry, he looks a lot like Jones, and he's a really good athlete. He's had a good year, and he's come on a lot. In the last 6 weeks of the season.
We used to say all or nothing guys were, the Dave Kingman, now 130 is where they have Fry on this list. But that's a lot of MLB anyway, huh? Averages are down, strikeouts are up, home runs are up.
Hit the ball out of the park, and he can certainly do that. We're brought to you by the Thibodaux Store, 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodaux. As we get closer to Father's Day, remember the gift items for Dad are countless. You can get him a gift card, but if you want to go in there and get him something unique, the Cypress Furniture makes a wonderful gift. The rockers, the gliders, the swings, the benches. Tons of grills, griddles, and the big green egg cookers are available at the Thibodaux Store. If you got a fisherman, lots of fishing gear. If you got a cook, Cajun cookware can be shipped right to your door. Go to the website, doitbest.com/Thibodaux Store. All of the cooking accessories are there. Power tools, hand tools, things to get your outdoor area in shape, outdoor furniture for your patio. You can get it all at the Thibodaux Store. Their sister property, the Pierre Part Store, in business for over 110 years. You can check them out, too. All of your lumber deliveries come out of the Pierre Part Store. So check them out, doitbest.com/Thibodaux Store. Take a break. Live at lunch, live at Walk-Ons, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And a return here at the original Walk-Ons live at lunch. Let's bring in Buzzy Hydell now. Former Tiger going to be on the call with Doug Thompson and Chris Blair this weekend. Buzz, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well, guys. Thanks for having me, fellas.
All right. Everybody, I'm sure, has been asking you about pitching all week, so I'll do something different. I'll ask you about the offense. And you were a hitter, Buzz. Everybody goes through ups and downs. LSU's had their fair share of both offensively throughout this lineup. How do you feel about these bats coming into the regional?
Yeah, you hope that it was their worst few weeks of the year, these last couple of weeks. The only thing I guess that concerns you a little bit is you feel like the SEC tournament is kind of where LSU shined over these last few years, really since once Paul Maneri got to LSU, and carried into when Jay Johnson got there. It seemed like when we got to the SEC tournament, it's kind of when everything kick-started and the offense, ball started leaving the yard and a big ballpark in Hoover, and then we just kind of carried that into, the postseason and the regional. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little concerned, especially with your best guys in Curiel and Jones, who you feel like, as they go, the team goes, and you hear it a bunch. I mean, your best players got to play well, and they certainly are LSU's best players. So, I'm a little concerned. I mean, the only good thing too, and they're going into a regional where the other three teams do not pitch it all that well. Although Dallas Baptist, they've got a few guys, and their team ERA is certainly lower than Rhode Island and Little Rock's. But yeah, they got to take advantage of the other three teams and their matchups from a pitching standpoint. Who, again, if you just look at paper and you look at the numbers, their numbers aren't great. So you hope LSU's offense can do well against them.
Let me throw this out there. It's not a completely radical idea, but and it might not help Curiel at all, but would you consider putting him maybe in a two-hole tomorrow? Putting Dickinson up at the top of the lineup, just to see?
Yeah, I mean, change it up. I'm with you. Look, as much as Curiel has struggled, I guess the thing that concerned me with Curiel over these last few weeks is the number of strikeouts. I said at the beginning of the year, and look, he's a freshman. I guess it's the end of the year. When are you not a freshman anymore? But I mean, he was so good, and he never seemed like a freshman all year that I think we just forgot that he was playing high school ball just a year ago. So the swing and miss and the taking of the strikes is something that you just didn't see all year from him, and so that's one thing where it's like, what's going on? But yeah, to answer your question, I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe that wouldn't be a bad idea just to change things up, but. They need a little bit of a kick in the behind to get going, and hopefully at 2:00 start tomorrow. The box will be rocking. It'll be good, hot, sunny weather, and balls will be flying all over the yard from the LSU standpoint.
All right, everybody's asking, who's going to pitch. Jay Johnson's not going to say till tomorrow. We got some of this information going out. Ordinarily, I'm pretty adamant about pitching down. I'm in that camp, and I still am, but I find myself a little bit more ambivalent towards it in this particular regional, just because I can see more than one way out. I could see them pitching Anderson tomorrow and still being in great position to win this regional on Sunday, and I could see them holding him and the same thing being true. What do you think that will transpire here from a pitching standpoint?
Let me ask you this, Charlie. Were you one of the ones 2 years ago when LSU won the national championship that thought Jay Johnson was crazy for throwing Paul Skeens against Tulane that opening game?
I actually thought about going out and tackling Skeens before he could get to the mound. Yes, I was 100% in opposition to that 2 years ago. So, yeah, I didn't like that at all. I know it worked out. LSU won a one-run game in the marble game. It could have gone either way. I think they would have handled Oregon State pretty easy with Skeens, and I think they would have won game one with Ty Floyd or Thatcher Hurd, but I don't know that for sure. So I'm ordinarily in favor of holding the one. But in this case, if they threw Anderson and got 7 innings out of him and won that game and didn't have to use one of the main bullpen guys behind him, and they got into a marble game where they had to use Ianson and maybe one other of the main guys, you're set up pretty good for Sunday there, too. You got to win the first two no matter what. So give me your thoughts.
In this situation, I don't know, maybe at the beginning of the season I'd have said, Anderson is the clear number one. He's still number one, but, I mean, Ianson has been so good. It's really 1A and 1B for me. So you flip a coin, in my opinion. You look at matchups, I guess, and all that and see maybe who's throwing better against righties and lefties and all that good noise with, how many guys Little Rock got in the lineup. But my thing, I definitely don't know that you throw off, meaning, who do you go to if you don't throw Anderson and Ianson? I mean, Newt's obviously throwing the ball better. Do you waste an Evans, who we've seen him start some Sunday games down the stretch? I don't know that you throw off. I think it's either Ianson or Anderson tomorrow. You get the win, and then you got one of those other guys for Saturday. The good news, and I mentioned it earlier in this interview, is that nobody the other three teams, nobody's pitching staff scares me. And if you win those first two games, and either one, you pick a team. I mean, Little Rock, Dallas Baptist, or Rhode Island. If they got to come through that losers bracket, they're going to be on fumes come their second game on Sunday, where LSU's sitting in the driver's seat. So, again, you win those first two games with those two guys, and then you figure out who you got to throw on Sunday against a depleted pitching staff for any of those three teams I just mentioned. I like our chances. And then you really like your chances if the offense, performs like we know they can. Everybody asks me, do you think LSU has enough pitching? I don't think they have enough pitching if the offense continues to go like it goes. But if they can score runs and do what LSU's done this year at times offensively, then I do. I think they've got enough guys. You don't need a ton of them. You just need a few guys to get the job done and stay healthy. And, up to this point they have. So, again, do they have enough pitching? Yes, if offense does what we know they can do.
Yeah, Jay Johnson had a good line a little while ago. He said if Jay Johnson, he referred to himself, said if Jay Johnson doesn't feel good about his pitching, nobody should. And I think that's really good. Finally, Buzz, I'm going to ask you about a game that you were a part of, and I'm just going to ask you what you were thinking that day. 2009, the national championship team got into a game to open the regional with Southern and went to the seventh inning fighting for you guys' life. Don't look at the final score was 10-2, which in no way, demonstrates how close that game was. Southern had the lead into the sixth or seventh inning.
Right.
You remember that game, I know. And Chase Richard, if he's listening out there, I know he listens to the show. He's still coaching around here. He had it going that day for Southern. Tied you guys in knots for 6 innings, and then it got away from Southern's bullpen. But the nervousness of that first game, tell me about that game, what you remember.
Yeah, I mean, it's everybody always said, whether LSU or, when you play in a 4 seed, like it's impossible for them to win, and that's obviously not the case. It's baseball. You know that better than anybody, Charlie. But, yes, I remember that game well, and I tell you what maybe people know, maybe people don't know. But when we got to about the 5th or 6th, it was later in the game, and actually Coach Maneri made a decision. This is unlike him because he was a very aggressive style coach and always wanted you to hit, and didn't give a whole lot of 3-1 takes or 2-0 takes like maybe you see sometimes in this new day and age. But he told everybody to take till we got to 2 strikes.
I didn't know that
game, and we started making Richard work a little more and get just try to get base runners, and I felt like we were chasing a lot. Now look, I know Chase as well, Charlie. He's a great guy, and he was
he is
filling up the strike zone and changing speeds, and it just goes to show you, man, if in a day and age where everybody throws 98 and 100 miles an hour, that a guy who, if you change speeds well and just throw a lot of strikes and make the other team try to beat you, sometimes it can be very difficult. But we were able to win that game. But no, it was definitely stressful for most of that game. And you're right, the score didn't indicate how close the game was and how much I'm sure Coach Maneri and many other guys in that dugout were sweating it. But the good news is we got the win, and we went on obviously to win the national championship. But yeah, you don't take any games for granted. And I think that was kind of Coach Jay Johnson's main thing a couple years ago, even with Tulane, and probably the reason he threw Skeens was like, hey, this isn't a time to throw off or try to take any teams for granted. So it was a tough one. I'm assuming you were on the call there, Charlie.
I was. Yeah. it was a little nerve wracking. I do remember Maneri had a similar situation to what Johnson has here in his pitching staff. He had a double ace that year. He had Renato and Coleman. And if I remember right, Austin Ross, who was his number 3 starter, started that game and didn't pitch badly. Southern only got 2 runs. It was the offense. It was the other side. So, LSU that could happen tomorrow. If this offense scuffles the way it did, they could have whoever pitches could pitch really well. The offense has got to come through.
Yeah, you just hope, like you say, you hope it was just a one-off thing. Even though, look, I didn't love the way they swung the bat in Columbia the last weekend of the series, even though they took 2 of 3. But you just hope, look, it was their worst couple games of the year in the SEC tournament. They turn it around. You're back at Alex Box Stadium, where the energy's always good and balls fly a little better there. So that's what you hope, Charlie. Is that that was one thing. But look, that's the scary thing about baseball. If the offense goes in the tank, I mean, then like I told you, I don't know that we got enough pitching to pitch our way out of not scoring a lot of runs.
Buzzy, have a great call this weekend. Enjoy the games, and thanks for spending a few minutes with us today. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Thank you, guys. Okay.
Today's show brought to you by Coastal Capital Advisors, your full-service financial planners, because when it comes to retirement, there are no two situations alike. Coastal Capital Advisors will work with you, your business partners, tax professionals, and, of course, it doesn't matter what age you are, what your income level is. They'll tailor-make a plan specifically for you. I know because that's exactly what they did for me. For more information, contact Phil Fontenot and his staff, 337-981-1376, online, coastalcapitaladv.com. Advisory services provided by New Age Advisors, member FINRA, SIPC. Back to wrap it up here, live at lunch from the original Walk-Ons, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And don't forget our friends over at Total Maintenance. That air condition breaks down. It's hot, man. Call our friends at Total Maintenance, 480-1000, 480-1000. And, I mean, the service today, every day means same-day service. You'll never sleep hot, 480-1000. Don't forget tomorrow and Saturday over here at Walk-Ons. We got live entertainment. We're doing the whole thing on the grass parking lot that faces Alex Box Stadium. 3 to 6 tomorrow. We've got live entertainment. It'll be full disclosure. And look, no cover, open to all ages, featuring big screen TV. So we've got a big watch party for the baseball and live music before and after. So, and then before on Saturday, we'll do the pregame parking lot tailgate with again more music. The Drew Danzy Band. So, want to talk about those folks. Don't forget our friends at Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. 288-8138. You want to see the quality of our windows, doors, sliding, and shutters firsthand? Come visit our showroom in Baton Rouge on Airline Highway. Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Again, tomorrow at Ruffino's for, again, more lead up for the LSU Baton Rouge Regional. And again, live entertainment Friday and Saturday night, pre and post game entertainment.